At exactly 10:50 a.m. on June 13, 2025, radar screens across Poland erupted with sudden activity. To the operators watching in dimly lit control rooms, it looked like chaos, a series of fast-moving returns lighting up their displays like a Christmas tree. The cause was soon clear. A Russian IL-20M, Coot-A, reconnaissance aircraft had crossed the border. Not just skimming it, it had penetrated Polish airspace a full 2 kilometers deep. Within seconds, the red alert hit NATO's Combined Air Operations Center. Scramble orders were issued, alarms sounded across the tarmac, and within minutes, the thunder of twin Eurofighter Typhoon engines echoed through the skies. 2 RAF jets, stationed in Poland under NATO's Baltic air policing mission, were airborne and accelerating toward the intruder. This wasn't a drill. It wasn't another high-altitude patrol. This was a live intercept. The IL-20M was flying low and slow over the Baltic Sea, maintaining a calm, deliberate course as if nothing unusual was happening. There were no radio acknowledgements, no transponder signals, no attempts at communication. Just silence. A silent spy plane wandering, deliberately, inside NATO airspace. Make no mistake, this was not a navigational error. The IL-20M doesn't get lost. It's a purpose-built electronic intelligence platform, a flying signals intelligence center packed with radar systems, communication scanners, data processors, and high-resolution cameras. Its mission is to listen, record, and analyze every electromagnetic whisper in the sky, from radar sweeps to encrypted radio chatter. For NATO, this wasn't the first encounter. Russian spy planes have been testing Europe's defenses for years. But this incursion was different, bolder, deeper, and unmistakably deliberate. The geopolitical chessboard. The aircraft likely took off from Kaliningrad, a heavily militarized Russian enclave squeezed between Poland and Lithuania. Kaliningrad is one of the most strategically sensitive pieces of territory in Europe, a fortress bristling with radar arrays, anti-air systems, Iskander ballistic missiles, and airbases that house both fighter jets and reconnaissance aircraft. From Kaliningrad, Russia can project power into the Baltic region and monitor nearly all NATO activity in Eastern Europe. Every flight from there is logged by NATO radar. Every takeoff is tracked. And yet, flights like this continue, creeping close to the border, sometimes slipping past it, testing, always testing. Just weeks before this event, on May 27 and again on June 5, RAF Typhoons had already been scrambled to intercept similar Russian aircraft edging too close to Polish airspace. But this time, it wasn't a near miss, it was an actual breach. The response inside the cockpits of the 2 RAF Typhoons, adrenaline levels spiked. The mission was simple on paper: intercept, identify, and escort the intruder back out, without escalation. But simplicity evaporates fast when your adversary refuses to communicate. The pilots knew the rules: NATO's air policing mission is defensive, not aggressive. Engagement is a last resort, only authorized if there's a clear and imminent threat. That restraint, however, is what makes these situations so volatile. All it takes is one misread maneuver, one pilot too close, one radio silence too long, and a cold standoff can become a global incident in seconds. As the British fighters closed in, they spotted the target visually: a lumbering, 4-engine turboprop, unarmed but bristling with antennas and sensors. The IL-20M is based on the old Soviet Il-18 airliner frame but has been transformed into a sophisticated listening post. It's slower than a modern fighter jet, but its endurance and equipment make it dangerous in a different way. It can loiter for hours, vacuuming up radio frequencies and radar signatures, mapping the electromagnetic landscape of NATO defenses. The technology behind the tension, the Typhoons, on the other hand, are cutting edge. Designed for air superiority, they can reach Mach 2 and climb to 55,000 feet in minutes. They carry advanced radar and infrared tracking systems that allow them to lock onto targets without revealing their own position, a crucial advantage in intercept missions where stealth and precision matter more than firepower. But in moments like this, the mission isn't about speed or weapons. It's about control. It's a strategic balancing act between deterrence and diplomacy. Ground radar tracks the intruder, air controllers coordinate intercept paths, and the Typhoon pilots maintain visual contact, keeping close enough to send a message but far enough to avoid provocation. It's a real-time chess game at 20,000 feet, where every move is watched not just by the pilots, but by command centers across Europe and analysts back in Moscow. The turning point for nearly 10 minutes, the IL-20M remained inside Polish airspace, ignoring every radio hail. Then, as abruptly as it came, it turned, not sharply or erratically, but with controlled precision. It banked northward, crossing back into international airspace exactly 2 kilometers from where it first entered. Almost as if it had been timed. This wasn't retreat. It was a test, a deliberate probe to measure NATO's reaction time and coordination. Analysts in Brussels would later note that the IL-20M turned back the moment NATO's intercept formation was fully established. Back in NATO command rooms, data was already flowing in: radar logs, response timelines, radio recordings, flight paths. Every second of this encounter was analyzed. To the public, it might seem like an uneventful incident that ended peacefully. But to military strategists, it was a carefully executed experiment, part of a larger pattern of psychological and intelligence warfare. The bigger game, Russia's layered pressure incidents like this rarely happen in isolation. They're often synchronized with cyber intrusions, satellite repositioning, or naval activity in the Baltic. Together, they form a web of pressure tests, a coordinated campaign to stress NATO's defenses, gather data, and probe for weaknesses. When the Il-20 left Polish skies, it didn't return directly to base. It began a slow orbit just outside NATO airspace, continuing to eavesdrop from a safe distance. Legally, it was in international airspace. Tactically, it was still inside Poland's face. The RAF Typhoons shadowed it silently, maintaining formation, ensuring the message was clear: we see you. Stay out. Lessons and warnings for NATO: this incident was both a success and a warning. The response was fast, professional, and by the book. But the deeper message was unmistakable: the skies over Eastern Europe are becoming a front line in a new kind of Cold War. Poland's defense ministry later called the incursion a provocative action designed to test NATO readiness, and they were right. Every time a Russian aircraft pushes that line, it's measuring more than radar range, it's studying psychology, decision speed, and communication discipline. Every intercept feeds intelligence. Every response builds Moscow's understanding of NATO's standard operating procedure. It's a slow, methodical campaign of reconnaissance disguised as routine flights. Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, NATO has dramatically reinforced its eastern flank. US F-35s patrol Romanian skies. German and British Typhoons rotate through Poland and Estonia. Patriot missile batteries have been stationed in Slovakia. Drones scan the Baltic seas day and night. The alliance's message is simple: we're watching, but Russia's message is equally clear: so are we. The silent war in the skies in today's world, the real battles often start long before the first shot is fired. They begin with data, with who sees first, who reacts faster, and who controls the narrative. The Il-20's short intrusion may seem like a footnote in the grand scheme of global tensions, but it's part of an invisible conflict being waged every day. It's a war of senses, signals, and patience. When the Il-20 finally turned back toward Kaliningrad, the RAF Typhoons confirmed its exit, filed their reports, and returned to base. Mission complete. On paper, a non-event. In practice, a message exchanged between two superpowers, loud and clear. Within hours, NATO's Allied Air Command began its post-incident analysis. Every radar ping, every second of radio silence, every pilot's decision, reviewed and archived. Protocols were refined. Contingency plans updated. The alliance adapts, one test at a time. Because everyone knows this, next time could be different. Next time, it might not be a slow-moving surveillance plane. It might be an armed jet, a drone swarm, or something far more dangerous. And in a world where airspace violations are becoming strategic messages, next time is the most dangerous phrase of all. The IL-20's incursion into Poland wasn't a mistake. It was a message. And NATO's calm, calculated response, that was a message, too. But the question remains, how many more of these tests can the world endure before one of them goes too far?